Almost at the end of the road now for 2023, a lot of really awesome movies released this year, but I want to get into movies for next year because this is my list of most anticipated movies for 2024. Let's get into it. I guess we'll go from most anticipated to least anticipated. Starting off with my most anticipated film for next year, and that is Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire. This marks the 5th installment in Legendary and Warner Bros. Pictures' Monsterverse. And I'm super excited to see Kong and Godzilla team up to take down Shimo and Scar King in this new film. It also seems like they're setting up Kong to be the king of the Hollow Earth after defeating the Scar King, earning the name King Kong. Not to mention, he has to take up the challenges of fatherhood, with him seemingly adopting the smaller ape-like kaiju that he stumbles across in the Hollow Earth. Next up, we got Ghostbusters and the Frozen Empire. This looks really cool, definitely looking at a summer release, and I like that we're following this new group of younger characters for the new generation of Ghostbusters films. Obviously, they're trying to write out the older characters while still having them cameo, but more focusing on some of the younger characters like Podcast and Phoebe. It also seems to be introducing a brand new villain, unlike some of the rinse and repeat villains we've seen for Ghostbusters films and cartoons in the past. We recently had Gozer in the previous film, and it's safe to assume that this new demon villain is going to be a breath of fresh air and nothing like any of the Ghostbusters have faced, both young and old. We got Venom 3 coming out sometime next year, and I'm super excited. The movie appears to be going with Toxin as the villain if the ending of the previous film, Venom Let There Be Carnage, is anything to go by. Patrick Mulligan starts turning presumably into Toxin at the end of the movie and rambling on about monsters being the symbiotes. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with Toxin in the movie as the film's antagonist. Other than that, we don't really know much about the film, other than Toxin is apparently going to be in it, and I'm wondering what kind of absurd plot armor they're going to give Venom in this movie. Because in the comic books, it takes the combined effort of multiple characters, both good and bad, to take down Toxin. Not kill him, but defeat him. And in the comics, Carnage, Venom, Spider-Man, and Black Cat have joined forces to defeat Toxin in various stories. I could even see Toxin becoming an anti-hero like Venom at the end of the film, because in the comics, Toxin was only really a villain when he first started out, and then devolved into an anti-hero like Venom, which is really cool, and I hope that they do that and they don't just kill him off, because that would be a really big waste of such a cool character like Patrick Mulligan's Toxin. Kung Fu Panda 4 I'm cautiously excited about, and that is because the way the trailer is represented is it makes it seem like the movie is trying to ignore things that happened in the past in regards to Poe's 3 previous adventures. It seems like they're trying to retread the ground of, oh, I don't know who I am, what am I gonna do, I gotta find inner peace, when we already did that in Kung Fu Panda 3. Poe at the end of the movie walked away thinking, I know who I am, I'm the son of a goose, I make noodles, I'm a dragon warrior, I'm super cool. But now we're doing that again, specifically for comedy? It seems rather stupid to me. And the idea of Poe having to make a successor for the Dragon Warrior is rather cool, but I feel like the introduction of Awkwafina's character and not one of the previously established characters to be that successor is really dumb. But I think the villain of the Chameleon is really cool. This lizard-like villain, which I think is awesome. I love her ability to kind of shapeshift into other characters from the past, and her power is interesting. And I'll tell you how I feel about that. I feel like her power is just a rehash of the previous villain's motives. So, Shen in Kung Fu Panda 2 wanted to kill Kung Fu. He basically wanted to use a gun to basically kill people's Kung Fu. And then in the third movie, Kai wanted to take people's Kung Fu and then use it against his enemies, which I feel is just being rehashed here with this fancy magic where the chameleon can lick somebody and then take their Kung Fu and then also turn into somebody, which I think is a cool thing. But it just seems too much like the previous motives and powers of the past villains that we've seen in this franchise. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I'm super excited for. Definitely, this looks like it's going to be an awesome movie in the realm of the previous Planet of the Apes remake films. I've really liked Caesar's journey up until this point. I feel like he's developed a lot as a character, and I think that this movie is going to deliver another awesome film in this franchise. I can't wait to see what Caesar does in his next journey. Deadpool 3 looks promising. With the addition of Deadpool and other X-Men characters into the MCU, I feel like this could be the greater instrument that Disney needs to reinvigorate Marvel Studios. I feel like if they bring the X-Men to the Marvel Studios lineup, it could save the franchise, as the MCU really hasn't been doing super well, releasing pretty basic and shit movies. But with Wolverine and the Merc with the Mouth making their way into Marvel Studios, I'm super excited, with Hugh Jackman reprising his role as Wolverine, and Ryan Reynolds also reprising his role as Deadpool. Now heading to the gray area, these are films that I am openly excited to find more information about, but I'm not too sure just yet. Starting off with Transformers 1. This is going to be an animated film telling the story of the days before the war that destroyed Cybertron, and the two warring factions, the Autobots and Decepticons. It's going to tell the story of a younger Optimus Prime, back when he was referred to as Orion Pax, and was a space librarian, so to speak. We're also going to see a younger Megatron, and it'd be really interesting to see this story in a full motion picture style, as well. Yes, we do know the story of how Megatron was originally trying to uprise against the corrupt government of Cybertron, but then went a little bit crazy, and how Optimus rose up to stop him, and the Decepticons and Autobots were forged. Even the star power for this movie looks pretty promising. We got Chris Hemsworth as Optimus Prime, or Orion Pax as he's probably going to be called in this movie, and we have Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron in this movie. So, obviously, there are going to be younger versions of themselves and less war-torn, which will be really exciting. I can't wait to see what this movie is going to look like. We haven't even seen trailers yet, but the idea of this post-war for Cybertron story of how Optimus Prime and Megatron became friends, but then sworn enemies and started a war is really cool. I wonder how they're going to end the movie, given that it's sort of a dark story that ends with Cybertron being destroyed and the Transformers taking the war off-world. And wrapping up this video, we got Madame Webb, which I know this movie has been memed to shit in the similar realm as Morbius, but I really like that movie for all the hate and goofy goober stuff it received. This movie could be an entertaining watch. I'm willing to give it a shot, but I know people don't really like that Sony is making these Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man spin-offs, and it's with reason, but I'm willing to give this movie a shot, even with its merits of being this goofy goober movie similar to Morbius that came before it. But guys, they're not going to do what She-Hulk did on Disney Plus with the cringy feminist humor, are they? Are they? Guys, with that being said, that pretty much wraps up my list. We got to see all 6 of the movies I'm super excited for to come in 2024, and then 2 movies that I'm openly excited for, but just ain't too sure right now. With that being said, hope you guys enjoyed, do take care, and Happy New Year.